Top stories tonight. 4 dead as unidentified gunmen attack communities in Anambra State. Presidency replies former President Olusegun Obasanjo over criticism of President Tinubu's government. Senate vows to sanction ministries, departments and agencies over operational breaches. And South Africa defends police operation on illegal mining amid humanitarian concerns. Thank you for joining us. I'm Felicity Ezewuike. Let's begin by telling you that 4 people, including members of the Anambra State vigilante operatives, were killed on Monday when unidentified gunmen launched a deadly attack in Dunukofia local government area and Abatete Idemili North local government area of Anambra State. Eyewitnesses reported that the assailants, suspected to be enforcing the Monday sit-at-home directive, stormed Abatete around 8:30 a.m., opening fire on residents. They then moved to the war roundabout, where they randomly fired at people, including vigilante operatives. The attackers also set ablaze several vehicles belonging to the vigilante group and fled the scene after the carnage. Security forces are yet to confirm the identities of the gunmen or their motives as investigations continue into the violent incident. The Anambra State Police Command has assured residents of intensified security measures to prevent future attacks and apprehend those responsible for the atrocity. To discuss this now, we're joined by media practitioner Franklin Chukwuebuka. Franklin, thank you for joining us. As a media practitioner on the ground, what more can you tell us about this attack? What could have led to this fatal escalation?
Okay, thank you very much. What happened today actually took us by surprise because nobody actually expected it. For quite a while now, Mondays have been peaceful, but for us to get to half of the day and then began to hear stories that came from Abatete, and as you highlighted. Unfortunately, I'm from Abatete, so this one is somehow connected to me because when I heard about what happened, I had to place some calls to be able to fathom what actually happened. And from the story that came from Abatete, what happened was that the PG of Abatete was going somewhere because normally when he wants to drive to anywhere, he drives alongside maybe 2 or 3 vigilante operatives. So he was driving with 2 of them, and likewise an artisan, an iron bender that he got to do some jobs for him. And they ran into these very gunmen at a place called Abatete, and they opened fire on them. We learned that they killed the 2 vigilante men and then the artisan on the spot. But the PG tried to make a run. He tried to escape the scene, but unfortunately, he got stuck in a shop where they met him and used machete on him. They gave him severe cut on his head. But as we speak, because I was able to make contact around 7:30 p.m. today, I learned that he was in hospital receiving treatment. So we are hoping that he'll be able to recover from the cuts he sustained from that very attack.
Has there been further update on those who were rushed to the hospital?
Could you repeat your question?
I'm asking if you can tell us anything more about those who were rushed to the hospital, because the official figure at the moment is that 4 persons were killed, but some were taken to the hospital.
The one I can speak about is what happened in Abatete. That's why I said the one I was able to confirm by myself that the PG who was taken to hospital is still there receiving treatment. As of when I spoke with my contacts around 7:30, he was under intensive care. But for the one that happened at Tubo, I can't actually speak to facts concerning that very one.
Okay, what has been the government's response to this?
For now, we haven't got any official response from the government of Anambra State, except the statement that came from the State Police Command trying to explain what happened, how the police tried to respond to the distress call, and what they were going to get. So, but for the government of the day, we haven't got any statement from Anambra State government regarding these very incidents.
How seriously are the people taking the assurances by the state police that they are trying to restore calm and they can go about their business?
The assurance does not resonate. It doesn't resonate with the people because I looked at the statement that the police issued this very evening, and I picked several holes in the way the story was crafted. Because police was trying to make us understand that security men were after the gunmen, and when they were fleeing, they had to make a stopover at Ubo, and they attacked some people who were there. So the stories are somehow disjointed. Any assurance coming from the police is not making any sense because people live in fear. For the fact that these very guys were able to operate in Apatete, which is in Demley North, then operates in Mpo, also in Demley North, and then move to Mpo, which is in the government of Anambra State. There's a distance between these very towns, and they operated on challenge on Monday. So any assurance coming from the police, just like pouring water on the rock.
Okay, one more before I let you go. The sit at home, like you rightly acknowledged, has become like a norm in the state. But we know that before now, the state government has been making efforts to rally people and tell them to go back to their businesses on Mondays. This is a setback for that effort, isn't it?
Of course, some people are going to get scared. But those who live in the capital city, people who live in Oka, they are more assured to go out for their businesses than those who live in Onitsha, those who live in Nnewi. On Mondays in Oka, of course, you have some level of business activities going on, people going for their businesses. Like a Koka does open on Mondays and people go for businesses. But when you move to areas like Globia, Onitsha, Nnewi, it's still a ghost town. People haven't taken that message from the governor because they are not sure of the security, just like what happened today. You can't just go to the market and tell people to begin to open their shops, begin to go for their businesses, that their security is guaranteed. And there's one breach and there was no response from any security agency. Of course, that will make people feel that their safety is not guaranteed.
Franklin, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed with what is happening and the people's reactions.
Thank you very much.
Barely 1 week after the killing of some soldiers in Ikenobisi in Umuahia South local government area of Abia State, a police officer has been shot dead in Ubakala, also in the same local government. The policeman was said to have been in the convoy of a House of Representatives member when they were attacked at Apumiri in Umuahia South local government area. News Center's Chinwe Ugele reports.
It was at this spot yesterday night, about 8 p.m., that people in this neighborhood started hearing gunshots. They didn't understand what it was because initially, as they said, they scampered for safety. But then when they returned, they said they found a body with a police uniform lying right here on the road. So if you look down, you'll see spilled blood that has already dried up. The people have already tried to cover it up with sand, and then the shattered glasses that are on the ground here. It is now 3 different deadly attacks in Umuahia South local government area in a space of 2 months. The first victim was a banker who was shot dead while trying to escape kidnap in Old Umuahia. The second being the ambush of the soldiers at a Kenobisi checkpoint, and now the most recent beside the local government headquarters at Apumiri. An eyewitness to the shooting in Apumiri Bakala that took the life of a policeman narrates what she saw. Not many people were present around the area when the attack took place.
So people are luckily out here that time. So I'm not going to move to the stories because I'm not. So we are not here, but I'm not going to this man. I'm not do it or kidnappers.
Residents of Umuahia South local government area say there's insufficient security around the locality, hence the series of attacks in recent times.
They should really try. We need it. Security is most important.
The insecurity currently in Umuahia South is alarming because for the past 3 weeks now, we've been sleeping with one eye open and the other one closed. So we want the government to intervene.
Abia State Police Command, in a press statement by the Public Relations Officer Maureen Chinaka, confirms the killing of the officer who was attached to Ginger Onwusibe and assures of commitments to fish out perpetrators soon. Basically, what the people ask for is that security be beefed up in all parts of the state. In Umuahia for News Central, I am Chinwe Ugele.
A Sunday midnight fire outbreak has destroyed property worth over 1 billion naira at the Katako Timber Market in Jos North local government area of Plateau State. Nearly 24 hours after the inferno, the cause remains unknown. However, security agencies have been commended for their collaborative efforts in ensuring the fire did not spread to other parts of the market. Chizoba Anyo, we visited the scene and brings us more details.
The incident was a devastating blow, occurring at an unexpected hour. Before firefighters and other rescue agencies arrived, victims were already left to count their losses. The only silver lining is that no lives were lost and no injuries were reported. Amidst the sorrow, despair, and hopelessness etched on the faces of the victims, there is a heartfelt plea for government intervention, especially given Nigeria's current economic challenges.
The fire service try because them came. Even the DPO of Katakoma, we appreciate it because all of them then gather here, and most of the security civil defense, they are here from 11 to 2:30 at night. Our groups have already gone without nothing. So we just beg you people and God and the government to help us, to help these people. Please and please, government is supposed to put hand inside this thing because of most of people, they are in hungry.
I have 6 shops. This incident, this is number 5. I lost millions of naira in my shop. But nevertheless, we live in God. By the grace of God, we know that as the life is on, Allah will give us another opportunity to continue our life successfully, inshallah.
I get 3 shops in this market. We lost our raw materials and so many things inside the shops, and we feel so bad. And actually, we want government to help us about this fire outbreak.
Adding to their anguish is the fact that this is not the first time Katako Market has experienced such a tragedy. Unfortunately, little appears to have been done to investigate the root causes or to establish measures to prevent a recurrence. Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang visited the scene to conduct an on-the-spot assessment accompanied by the local government council chairman of the affected area.
Losses have occurred. We want to sympathize with those who lost their property, and we would work together to see how we can reduce the damage that has been caused. But this also gives us opportunity to review how this market has operated over the years. All the requests that the traders have made, we will look into them dispassionately. We will see how we can be able to prevent future occurrences of this type.
But we are still putting our heads together to really find out. I'm sure the professionals, the fire service, will also dig deep. We'll find out the cause. And whatever the cause, we are looking forward to see how we can prevent future occurrence.
Apart from this debris you're seeing here, and of course the smoke that everyone around here is inhaling at the moment, which is also not good for the health, what the victims are crying out loud for is that something is done very, very fast so that they can come back to their businesses and begin their lives all over again. From the Katako Market in Jos North local government area of Plateau State, for News Central, Chizoba Aniowe.
Thank you, Chizoba. Coming up, presidency replies former President Olusegun Obasanjo over criticism of President Tinubu's government. We have details after the break. Do join us again. If you've just joined us, you're watching Tonight. A reminder of our top stories. 4 dead as unidentified gunmen attack communities in Anambra State. Presidency replies former President Olusegun Obasanjo over criticism of President Tinubu's government. Senate vows to sanction ministries, departments and agencies over operational breaches. In South Africa, defense police operation on illegal mining amid humanitarian concern. Let's tell you the latest from former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He has said that the level of corruption in the country has passed the alarming and entered the fatal stage. He said this in his keynote address on the topic Leadership Failure and State Capture in Nigeria, delivered at the Chinua Achebe Leadership Forum, Yale University, New Haven in the U.S. Obasanjo hinted that corruption continues to rank among the most important problems facing Nigerians. He insisted that the nation would continue to sink into chaos, insecurity, conflict, discord, disunity, depression, youth restiveness, confusion, violence, and underdevelopment, as long as it is embedded in corruption. Obasanjo, however, gave a message of hope that all will be well with the country if the challenges of immorality and corruption are squarely addressed. Expectedly, there has been a response from the presidency coming from the special advisor to the president on public communication and orientation, Sunday Dare. He has asserted that Nigeria's democracy suffered significant setbacks during former President Olusegun Obasanjo's tenure. In a statement posted on his X account on Monday, Dare alleged that successive administrations have grappled with the challenges inherited from Obasanjo's government, adding that President Tinubu is making considerable strides in addressing these issues. According to Dare, the former president no longer holds the moral authority to criticize the current administration. He added that the former president owes Nigerians an apology for failing to establish the foundational infrastructure necessary for the nation's development. Dare also highlighted that during Obasanjo's leadership, no justification was ever provided for the $16 billion reportedly spent on producing what he described as megawatts of darkness across the country. Let's discuss this. We're joined now by Executive Chairman, Coalition Against Corrupt Leaders, Debo Adeniro. Debo, thank you for joining us. Are we on the verge of extinction due to corruption as a nation, according to the former president, with his predictions, of course?
Thank you. I didn't really get that, your question.
Okay, I was just asking you, is former President Obasanjo accurate in his description that we are on the verge of extinction due to corruption as a nation?
Oh, no, not at all. Although we are moving at very slow pace, the pace is so slow that it may take too long to arrive at the destination and Nigerians may face so much pains and pangs before things begin to improve. But we are not on our way to perdition. We are likely to recover if we are able to manage the economy the way it is being managed, although it will take a long time. There are shorter routes to the destination than we are taking. But then it cannot be compared with the predecessors of the present administration. The predecessors only postponed the evil days, and we are already within the precinct of that evil days. And once we are able to trudge through, then the evil days will get over. We'll get over the evil days, and Nigeria will see a new dawn in its economy, in its sociology, and all what will make life more abundant for the people. The way I'm looking at it, not because I like the way the present administration is going, is taking us through the present pains and pangs. But I believe that it's a slow and steady thing that will win the race at the end of the day.
What's your assessment of the presidency's response that I just read out? He has attacked Obasanjo, saying the damage he caused is being significantly addressed by Tinubu's administration. Is this accurate in your opinion?
Very accurate. It actually is an inadequate assessment of Obasanjo's corruptive administration. Obasanjo only second to maybe Ibrahim Babangida in perpetration of corruption crimes. Most crimes, international crimes, happened during Obasanjo days. As soon as he got to office, as if he regretted that he didn't have the opportunity to get into corruption climate when he came as the military head of state. He now became very ferocious about how to pillage the resources of this country. Don't forget, it was during the Obasanjo regime that we had all the international bribery scandals, like that of Pentascope. You know, we had Nitel. Pentascope was hired to bail Nitel out of debt. Before then, Nitel was making about 1 billion naira every month. But when Pentascope came, they incurred more debts. And we discovered that a corporate organization that, Obasanjo manipulated everything to the extent that the debt office had to buy some of the debts. At the end of the day, it turned out that the proceed was turned to Transcorp. And don't forget that Obasanjo had about 500 shares in Transcorp.
Okay, but Deborah, if I may interject, sometimes there is a message. The Bureau might not be the best specimen to do that. There is, at the crux of his submission, was leadership crisis for the country. He says it's at the heart of our problems. You are in the leadership space. Do you believe that Nigeria has a leadership crisis despite the presence of the current administration?
Well, you see, the way we recruit our leadership is actually faulty. And that may be the basis of the assertion that there is a leadership crisis in Nigeria. And once there is corruption in the way we recruit our leadership, those leadership that were so recruited are not likely to work with honest people because they want to run their administration through the same way they came in, they will want to cover up their tracks. They will want to gain back whatever they have spent to bribe people here and there to retain power. And they will want to use jackboot violence on people to continue to reign and to ride roughshod on us. So basically, we have leadership crisis. But then it is not at all levels. Then we might have gotten it wrong the way we have been holding our elections, and maybe by omission or commission, we could, even along the line, get the kind of leadership that understand the economy of Nigeria, that actually had a way out quagmire we have found ourselves over the years.
Deborah, there is a part of that question.
A different thing altogether.
There's a part of that question I don't think you've addressed, and that is, we do have leadership at the moment in the country on President Bola Tinubu. So I'm asking you, despite the presence of this leader, do we still have a leadership crisis? You seem to align that there is a leadership crisis. Is it despite the presence of this leader?
Yes, as long as we don't have a leader that will adopt the participatory governance system, where the people are not truly consulted before policies and programs are implemented, the policies and programs that affect the majority of the people, we wouldn't have what we can call democracy. Because democracy should be that government that serves the best interests of the majority of the people. Even if the government is on the right path, and that right path is bringing pains and deaths to people, that may not be the right type of administrative strategy that we can subscribe to. We believe that even if economic policies will be tough, it should be such that people will be able to tolerate, that will not put people in so much agony, you know, so that at the end of the day, you are looking at the future. Many of those that are affected may not live to see that future. That is not correct. But then, if there is widespread consultations,
Yeah, we're really out of time. I would have loved to hear your further submission, but we're out of time for this conversation. So I'll just say thank you. Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Well, it is my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Always a pleasure, sir. Now, the Special Advisor to the President on Public Communication and Media, Daniel Bwala, has urged Nigerians to be optimistic about the reforms of President Bola Tinubu, saying by the first quarter of 2025, Nigerians will experience a clear difference in governance to the previous administration. Bwala stated this on Monday to State House correspondents while speaking on several efforts of President Tinubu-led administration in addressing challenges of food security, insecurity and inflation confronting the nation. The presidential aide, who assumed office on Monday, also said the president is committed to tackling the challenge of the food crisis and bringing down inflation.
To be honest with you, government is not perfect. Government is a work in progress. What government does consistently is to communicate to the people, not just the intention of government, but the effort of government in delivering on the promise to the Nigerian people. So you're going to find in the course of our work, there are times government will come up to you to say, this and this are the efforts we've made in this regard. If it is not perfect, we're improving upon it. The posture of Mr. President from when he took the oath of office to the Nigerian people is that I have undertaken this task. I know the onerous responsibility. I'm committed to it. The box is on my table. All I require from the Nigerian people is patience. This reform we have embarked upon is tough, but it's what we are prepared for. And we are going to put in our best. In the course of the administration, we are going to make sure that we communicate to the Nigerian people what we are doing. And I can readily tell you that the administration has achieved tremendously if you're looking at it from the point of view of somebody who is neutral, because the nation consists of government, the opposition, and the people. Sometimes in the messaging, focus is made most of the times on the opposition instead of the people. That's why the role of the media, as you all know, is very important, because what you do is you report what is happening and the Nigerian people can judge.
Nigeria's Senate has vowed to impose sanctions on ministries, departments and agencies that fail to comply with laws and resolutions passed by the Parliament affecting their operations. This was made known by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Legislative Compliance during a one-day workshop for members of the committee aimed at improving legislative compliance for effective governance. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, has more on this.
Bill be now read a second time. Say aye.
The legislature, while tasked with making laws, is also responsible for effective implementation of these laws and other resolutions. However, ensuring compliance by MDAs is often hindered by weak enforcement mechanisms, bureaucratic inefficiencies, and a lack of political will, which undermines legislative decisions and erodes public trust in governance.
When laws and resolutions are ignored or poorly implemented, the very foundation of democracy is weakened. Strengthening legislative compliance is therefore not just a procedural task, but a patriotic duty that directly impacts the lives of Nigerians.
To address these critical challenges of oversight and compliance, the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies organized this workshop to enhance the capacity of lawmakers.
Our focus today is not only to identify gaps, but also to develop practical solutions that will enable the legislature to hold MDAs accountable for implementing resolutions and adhering to the laws of the land.
One of the highlights of today's workshop is the introduction of a tracking dashboard. This innovative tool will allow the relevant committee to monitor the implementation of laws and policies in real time.
The President of the Senate and Chairman of the Senate Committee on Legislative Compliance seized the opportunity to urge MDAs to comply with the laws of the Federation in their operations. They pledged to enforce sanctions on any agency found to be in violation.
What we want to call on all those that are head of MDAs and agencies or ministry of government is to comply with all these instruments or all these resolutions.
We will take this job seriously, and where sanctions are required, we will not hesitate to sanction any MDA that violates the laws of this country.
Lawmakers view this gathering as a call to action for all stakeholders to collaborate on accountability. They also urge citizens to report any infringements by MDAs that the Parliament may not be aware of, promising to enforce compliance. In Abuja for News Central, I am Idong Joseph.
Still ahead, South Africa Defense Police operation on illegal mining amid humanitarian concerns. We'll tell you more when we come back. Don't go away. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa has defended a police operation targeting hundreds of illegal miners trapped in an abandoned gold mine shaft in Stilfontein. The president maintains that the miners must vacate the site as authorities persist with efforts to remove them by cutting off access to food and water supplies. The operation, which has seen security forces stationed at the mine for weeks, has faced criticism over humanitarian concerns. Local residents have been barred from delivering essential supplies to the miners, heightening fears of starvation or fatalities on the ground.
Regarding the conditions, I don't want to lie. They have been staffed for quite some time. So you can see it's just the bones. The skin is just covering the bone at this moment. So they are very critical. They can't even speak. They can't drink. Even when they drink the water, you can see that they are quenching. It's not easy, honestly. It's not easy. They are starving down. It's better when I'm using my efforts for something positive, saving a life. For me, that is one of the things. But my take, it's very traumatic. Seeing someone coming, almost died. Rescue another one, almost died. Luckily, there is still some breath in those. But others, unfortunately, they come dead.
If the government, like they say, or the minister said verbally that they are committed to assist and work with the communities to save people, that won't impress us until it happens.
Let's go over now to our business desk for today's update.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Nigeria's Speaker of the House of Representatives, Abbas Tajuddin, has expressed concern over the country's low tax-to-GDP ratio, which stands at only 6%. He noted that the figure is significantly below the global average and the World Bank's minimum benchmark of 15% necessary for sustainable development. During an interactive session discussing the tax reform bills currently in the National Assembly, the Speaker stated that the House has not yet taken a definitive stance. The proposed tax reform bills aim to overhaul the nation's tax framework to foster economic growth, support Nigeria's households, and enhance Nigeria's competitiveness on the global stage, all while promoting equity, efficiency, and sustainable development. Bank customers have expressed frustration over persistent cash scarcity in banks and their automated teller machines as players outside the formal banking system gradually take over the business of dispensing money to customers for a fee. In a survey in Lagos, Federal Capital Territory, Delta, and Bayelsa states, bank customers complained of their inability to get Naira notes needed at bank counters and ATMs. Some aggrieved customers were informed that the decision to limit the amounts payable across the counter came from the management, as most of the ATMs on ground were out of service. Those working were besieged by a large crowd, forcing majority of the customers to resort to getting cash from POS agents and filling station attendants. The cash scarcity, which has lingered for several months, is coming amidst recent data from the Central Bank of Nigeria, revealing that the money outside banks exceeds currency outside the banks. The Nigerian government has announced a comprehensive debt restructuring strategy aimed at freeing up resources for critical infrastructure development. This forms a key component of the 2025 to 2027 medium-term fiscal framework and fiscal strategy paper. With declining households and private sector spending, the government plans to secure long-term non-commercial facilities with tenures ranging between 10 and 50 years and a moratorium of 5 to 7 years. According to the MTEF FSP document released by the Budget Office of the Federation, the provision for debt service is expected to rise significantly due to the country's large debt profile and the Central Bank of Nigeria's monetary policy rate, which now stands at 27.25% as of September 2024.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Up next is sports.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Defending champions Rivers Hoopers of Port Harcourt have won the 2024 Nigeria Premier Basketball League title, defending the crown they won last year. after comfortably defeating Hoops and Reed of Lagos 71 to 54 points. In front of a partisan crowd in Port Harcourt, the Kingsmen won every single quarter to emerge champions of the 2024 Men's Basketball League after going through the entire season unbeaten. By virtue of the win, Rivers Hoopers will have a chance to compete for the 2025 Basketball Africa League. The championship win means that the Kingsmen have now recorded a 6th league title. The Super Eagles of Nigeria's hopes of finishing the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier on a high note ended in disappointment as they suffered a shock 2-1 loss at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. The three-time African champions have already secured the top spot in the group with 11 points from 5 matches, ensuring their participation in the 2025 AFCON in Morocco. Samuel Chukwueze put Nigeria ahead in the 59th minute, but 2 quick-fire goals in the 72nd and 75th minute from Ange Mutsinzi and Innocent Nshuti earned Rwanda its first win over the Super Eagles. However, victory was not enough to seal qualification for the Amavubi as Benin Republic played out a goalless draw with Libya to see the Cheetahs secure the second spot. England captain Harry Kane says the 2026 FIFA World Cup may not be his last international tournament. The 31-year-old's future remains uncertain despite extending his all-time scoring record to 69 goals in 103 appearances for his country when he scored the opener in the 5-0 win against Republic of Ireland on Sunday. Interim manager Lee Carsley had benched Harry Kane for the 3-0 victory in Greece on Thursday. Kane spoke at the unveiling of a statue and a mural of him at the Peter May Sports Centre in East London, where he began playing as a 5-year-old for Ridgeway Rovers. England will find out their World Cup qualifying opponents on the 13th of December, with the first games scheduled to take place in March. 3 members of South Africa's World Cup winning team, Cheslin Kolbe, Eben Etzebeth and Pieter Steph Dutoit, were shortlisted on Monday for World Rugby's Player of the Year award, while Antoine Dupont is in line for the 7th prize. Springbok prop Dutoit is in the contention to win the award for a second time after receiving the trophy in 2019, with Kolbe and Etzebeth also part of the team that defended their World Cup title last year. Ireland captain Caelan Doris completes the list of nominees for the top men's honour. Dupont, the 2021 World Player of the Year, sat out France's 2024 Six Nations campaign to prioritize the shorter form of the sport, winning gold medal at the Paris Olympics. The winners will be announced on Sunday in Monaco. And that's a wrap on Sport Update. I'm Udoka Njoku.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
Entertainment stories is up next.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
And now in entertainment tonight. Nigerian music filmmaker and music video director Clarence Peters has shared his thoughts about music rights and ownership in Nigeria. In a recent interview right here in News Central, he shared his advocacy towards monetization and the longevity of Afrobeats.
We will evolve progressively when we as people evolve progressively. All right. When we have some sort of financial capacity as individuals, it will directly affect the ownership of the music and the way the music is exploited. We can't say that we want certain kinds of results when we can't afford to pay for the music, all right? Or not even just, we can't afford the time to actually just to really engage with the music, right? Right now people are listening to music to escape. People can't listen to music critically, well, as much as they should, because there are a lot of things, there are other problems in the world, in the country to deal with, all right? People can't breathe. You can't divorce that. You can't expect that you will squeeze water out of stone. Even though Nigerians give it a real We try. We attempt the impossible.
And now in the news, music and film icon Quincy Jones was posthumously awarded an honorary Oscar at the star-studded Governor's Award on Sunday, just weeks after his passing at 91 from pancreatic cancer. The late producer's daughter, Rashida Jones, accepted the award, reflecting on his zest for life and sharing his excitement about the planned ceremony. He lived the best, most beautiful life, she said, earning a heartfelt ovation from the audience. Celebrated for producing legendary music for artists like Frank Sinatra and Michael Jackson, Jones also left a profound mark on Hollywood, contributing to films like The Color Purple and earning Oscar nominations for works such as In Cold Blood and The Wiz. Actor Jamie Foxx highlighted Jones's cinematic contributions, emphasizing his immense influence beyond music. The ceremony also honored the producers of the James Bond franchise and served as a prelude to the upcoming Oscars season, with studios and stars vying for early attention from Academy voters.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Away from the news, now in trends. Glitch is trending after Wizkid's latest release, Kese, or Dance, suddenly disappeared from the official Top 100 Niger chart on Apple Music over what fans and music critics claim to be alleged fraudulent streams. Although no official statement was made by the streamer, the song was eventually returned to the top of the charts, exciting his fans who had gone on to troll Apple Music on Instagram, while some threatened to report their accounts. Now fans are alluding the disappearance to a glitch. Here is what people are saying. This one by Adeayo says it took 6 hours for it to return to the summit, so that's quite a lot. But returning to number 1 suggests there was no penalty, meaning it might be a glitch. Quite interesting. Another one by Bayo Otedola says Apple Music glitched for Wizkid's Kese so they can trend. Talk about influence. Wizkid is him. And this one by Remzor says Wizkid own na glitch, other artists na farming. Oh yeah, alone. And finally this one by Baba Hafusa says if you really think a Wizkid song that was put out a few days ago would leave Apple Music Niger top 200 and you don't see that it's a glitch, then I'm sorry to say we really do deserve our leaders in this country. Well, that's how much we can take on entertainment and trends. I am Sam Dandy, back with the rest of the news.
Actually, it's the end of the news for tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the headlines. 4 persons have been killed as unidentified gunmen attack communities in Anambra State. Presidency has replied former President Olusegun Obasanjo over criticism of President Tinubu's government. Senate has vowed the sanctioned ministries, departments and agencies over operational breaches. We also brought you news that South Africa has defended police operation on illegal mining amid humanitarian concerns. You can catch up on all the latest stories by watching News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and on YouTube. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good night.